Hey guys, my name is Atlas, and thank you so much for joining me on my channel, especially when I know you have so many incredible options. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having an amazing evening or daytime. If for some reason you are watching me read stories during the day, hey, no judgment. Watch me read stories whenever, please. Bring your mates. Today, I thought we would try something different. It may not work. Hey ho. I mean, it's not that different. We're just reading from a different book. This is a collection of English fairy tales, which is somewhat appropriate considering that I'm reading this from England. And it, I guess, is to be seen what level of messed upness we're in to expect. Not because they have to be, of course, but because 200 years ago, or whenever these were written, I mean, I assume they're very, very old tales, actually, that have simply been transcribed or rewritten or collected in the past couple of hundred years. They tend to not share our modern social idiosyncrasies that might make a modern children's book slightly more, let's say, or less murderous or cruel. I mean, I doubt that some of the phrasing we've come to expect in the previous versions, like people throwing themselves and blinding themselves into thorn hedges, or killing themselves in any number of ways. I doubt that flies today. But hey, actually, who knows? I don't read modern kids' books. Maybe I should do some proper research, Atlas, before shooting your mouth off. Today, I thought I wasn't going to do a big preamble, but here we are. Today, we are reading The Story of the Three Bears, which I am surprised to learn does not feature the word Goldilocks. Is it the same story? Who knows? Let's find out. So, The Story of the Three Bears by, or it may not be by, it might just be sort of translated by, or, well, no, not translated by, it's an English fairy tale. Collected by, let's say, Joseph Jacobs. Let's go. Once upon a time, there were 3 bears who lived in a house of their own in a wood. God, you never get that today with today's house prices. What a stupid opening comment. Okay, let's try that again. Who lived in a house of their own in a wood. One of them was a little, small, wee bear. One was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great, huge bear. Judgy, I'm sure he's trying his best. They each had a pot for their porridge. A little pot for the little-sized bear, a middle-sized pot for the middle bear, and a great pot for the great, huge bear. And they each had a chair to sit in. A little chair for the little, small, wee bear, a middle-sized chair for the middle bear, and a great chair for the great, huge bear. Why does he get a better chair than everyone else? And they each had a bed to sleep in too. A little bed for the little, small, wee bear, a middle-sized bed for the middle bear, and a great bed for the great, huge bear. One day, after they had made the porridge for their breakfast and poured it into their porridge pots, they walked out into the wood while the porridge was cooling, that they might not burn their mouths by beginning too soon to eat it. Smart. And while they were walking, a little old woman came to the house. She could not have been a... Wait, okay, so that's... Okay. So this is why Goldilocks isn't in the title. Because for some reason, she's not in this story. Okay, cool. New protagonist, a little old woman that little girls can relate to worldwide. A little old woman came to the house. She could not have been a good, honest old woman, for first she looked in the window and then peeped in at the keyhole, and seeing nobody in the house, she lifted the latch. The door was not fastened, because the bears were good bears, who did nobody any harm, and never suspected that anybody would harm them. So, the little old woman opened the door and went in, and well pleased she was when she saw the porridge on the table. If she had been a good little old woman, then she would have waited till the bears came home, and then, perhaps, they would have asked her to breakfast, for they were good bears. A little rough or so, as the manner of bears is, but for all that, very good-natured and hospitable. But she was an impudent, bad old woman, and set about helping herself. So, first she tasted the porridge of the great, huge bear, and that was too hot for her. And she said a bad word about that. And then she tasted the porridge of the middle bear, and that was too cold for her. And she said a bad word about that too. And then she went to taste the porridge of the little, small, wee bear, and tasted that, and neither was too hot nor too cold. Stuff that sentence up. And that was neither too hot nor too cold, but just right. And she liked it so well that she ate it all up. But the naughty old woman said a bad word about the little porridge pot, because it did not hold enough for her. Okay. Then the little old woman sate? Is that the past word of to sit? I guess it is in this book. Okay. Then the old woman sate down in the chair of the great huge bear, and that was too hard for her. And then she sate down in the chair of the middle bear, and that was too soft for her. How can a chair be too soft? And then she sate down in the chair of the little, small, wee bear, and that was neither too hard nor too soft, but just right. So she seated herself in it, and there she sate till the bottom of the chair came out, and down she came, plump upon the ground. And the naughty old woman said a wicked word about that too. I mean, how is a bear not as heavy as a woman? Why is this woman going through the chair of the bear? It makes no sense. But here we are. Then the little old woman went upstairs into the bedchamber in which the three bears slept. And first she lay down upon the bed of the great huge bear. But that was too high at the head for her. Just lie further up the bed. What are you doing? And next she lay down upon the bed of the middle bear, and that was too high at the foot for her. And then she lay down upon the bed of the little, small, wee bear, and that was neither too high at the head nor at the foot, but just right. So she covered herself up comfortably and lay there until she fell asleep. By this time, the three bears thought their porridge would be cool enough, so they came home for breakfast. Now, the little old woman had left the spoon of the great huge bear standing in his porridge. "Somebody has been in my porridge," said the great huge bear in his great gruff, rough voice. And when the middle bear looked at his, he saw that the spoon was standing in it too. They were wooden spoons. If they had been silver ones, the naughty old woman would have put them in her pocket, for she is a naughty old woman. "Somebody has been at my porridge," said the middle bear in his middle voice. What's a middle voice? I guess this is a middle voice. Then the small wee bear looked at his, and there was a spoon in the porridge pot, but the porridge was all gone. "Somebody has been at my porridge and has eaten it all up," said the little small bear in his little small wee voice. Upon this, the three bears, seeing that somebody had entered their house and eaten up the little small wee bear's breakfast, began to look about them. Like that. Now, the little old woman had not put the hard cushion straight when she rose from the chair of the great huge bear. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said the great huge bear in his great gruff, rough voice. And the little old woman squatted down the soft cushion of the middle bear. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said the middle bear in his middle voice. And you know what the old woman had done to the third chair? "Somebody has been sitting in my chair and has sate the bottom out of it," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. I guess for the old woman to have gone through the chair of the little small wee bear, the little small wee bear must be very little, small and wee indeed, for the woman is also apparently small. So, very confusing. Then the three bears thought it necessary that they should make farther search. So they went upstairs into their bedchamber. Now, the little old woman had pulled the pillow of the great huge bear out of its place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the great huge bear in his great gruff, rough voice. And the little old woman had pulled the bolster of the middle bear out of its place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the middle bear in his middle voice. And when the little small wee bear came to look at his bed, there was the bolster in its place, and the pillow in its place upon the bolster, and upon the pillow was the little old woman's ugly, dirty head. Such a judgy little bear, which was not in its place, for she had no business there. Absolutely fair enough. "Somebody has been lying in my bed, and here she is," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. The little old woman had heard in her sleep the great rough, gruff voice of the great huge bear. But she was so fast asleep that it was no more to her than the roaring of wind or the rumbling of thunder. And she had heard the middle voice of the middle bear, but it was only as if she had heard someone speaking in a dream, which is exactly what she had just described. But when she heard the little small wee voice of the little small wee bear, it was so sharp and so shrill that it awakened her at once. Up she started, and when she saw the three bears up on one side of the bed, she tumbled herself out the other and ran to the window. Why she's not saying wicked words on seeing some massive bears watching her sleep, I don't really know. I would be. Now, the window was open because the bears, like a good, tidy bears as they were, always opened their bedchamber window when they got up in the morning. Out the little old woman jumped, and whether she broke her neck in the fall, or ran into the wood and was lost there, or found her way out of the wood and was taken up by the constable and sent to the house of correction for a vagrant as she was, I cannot tell. But the three bears never saw anything more of her. The end. I like how the author gave us three different options there as to how she might have met her demise. It's like a pick-your-own-adventure ending. Like Goosebumps. I'm going to choose that she broke her neck, because otherwise why would the authors put it in our heads? Maybe she broke her neck. Probably. It was looking for a while like that was going to be slightly more wholesome than the Grimm Brothers fairy tales. But no, good. At the end, we at least had a solid neck breakage. Why is it always the neck? Anyway, that was fun as well. Yeah, I think it's slightly more well-mannered than a lot of the Grimm Brothers, which are pretty fast-paced and action-packed and rough around the edges. But that was a more solid bedtime story. So, I hope very much you got a kick out of that and are happily relaxed or thinking about, an old woman's neck being broken. Pick your own path. And if you like that, then please do feel free to subscribe and check out some of the other videos. Rumpelstiltskin and Little Red Riding Hood and Sleeping Beauty are my faves. I think they are all cracking good reads. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.